In the haunting shadows of society, the spectre of racism continues to linger, its corrupting influence poisoning our justice system, even as we venture into the uncharted waters of the 23rd century. An eerie thought to upon, isn't it? Imagine if the hue of your skin, as random as the roll of a dice, determined the fate of your justice. It reads like a chilling tale from a dystopian novel, yet for many it's a maddening reality. A world where a fundamental human right is grotesquely distorted by the pigmentation of your skin. A world where the scales of justice are not tipped by truth and fairness, but are irrationally tilted by prejudice and intolerance. A chilling insanity, not confined to a select few, but seeping into the very core of our collective consciousness. It erodes our faith in equality, warps our understanding of justice, and slowly frays the very fabric of our society. Now let's plunge into abyss, unveiling real-life instances where the culprits of this racist horror tasted the bitter justice they once denied others. Imagine a world so clouded by distorted beliefs that even the ominous shadows of the law cease to exist. Let us peel back the layers of a story so mind-boggling it shakes the very core of our understanding of human nature. We begin with our suspect, a man lost in the labyrinth of his own disturbing racial prejudice. His deeds transcended the realm of offensive words or tasteless humor. Instead, they evolved into a chilling series of deliberate damaging acts. He appointed himself the tormentor, the intimidator, and the purveyor of pain. His victims chosen solely based on their skin color. His deeds painted a macabre tableau of his ignorance and fear, manifesting the haunting power prejudice can have on an individual's sanity. Then, as though a spectre in the night, the law began its silent pursuit. Unbeknownst to him, his every action was watched, every racially fueled transgression documented. A devoted team of officers, or rather the guardians of justice, were closing in. The moment of his arrest was a scene stripped of dramatic flair. No adrenaline-fueled chases, no tense confrontations, just a simple, haunting knock that echoed in the stillness. As the evidence of his misdeeds was laid bare before him, the man reacted with genuine astonishment. He had been so subsumed in his skewed world of prejudice, he had overlooked the fact that his behavior was not only morally repugnant, but patently illegal. His reaction was a bizarre cocktail of unbelief and defiance. He sought to defend his actions, stating he was merely using his right to free speech. He had deluded himself into believing his hatred was warranted, his actions beyond reproach. His bias had led him astray, had blinded him to the rudimentary principles of human decency. The most eerie facet of this case is the suspect's void of remorse. Even as the cold steel of the handcuffs encased his wrists, he clung to his warped beliefs. His defiance didn't waver, his prejudice didn't falter. Even at the moment of capture, the man remained blissfully unaware of the profound gravity of his crime. Now imagine a person filled not just with power but with madness, a man who used his authority not just to maintain order, but to weave a web of systemic racism and discrimination. This is our next case study, a chilling tale of power gone horribly awry. Picture a figure of authority, well-respected, his demeanor reeking of respectability. But lurking beneath this facade was a sinister persona. This man, whom we shall call John Doe, was steeped in an eerie obsession with discrimination and marginalization. He targeted individuals based solely on their race, cultivating an atmosphere of fear and suspicion. His actions were not just morally abhorrent, but a blatant disregard for law and order. The day of reckoning arrived when an investigation into his malevolent deeds was initiated. The evidence was irrefutable. Phone records, testimonials, and even shocking video footage, each piece adding to the grotesque portrait of a man who had shattered the trust vested in him. What followed was a gripping climax, the moment when the shackles of justice clasped his wrists. He was forced to face the consequences of his deranged actions. His arrest was more than just an individual's fall from grace. It symbolized the downfall of a toxic ideology that has no place in a just society. The shockwave from his arrest rippled through the community, stirring up a powerful dialogue about racism and abuse of power. It triggered policy changes, ignited a renewed commitment to equality and justice. But perhaps the most poignant message was for those still at the helm of power. It served as a stark reminder that actions have repercussions, that power comes with responsibility, and that no one, no matter how powerful, can evade the claw of justice. His arrest served as a stark reminder no one is above the law, and madness can never justify injustice. And then there are those who, in their twisted minds, thought they were invincible. Introduce yourself to our third enigma, a woman who perceived herself as a phantom above the law, untouched by the repercussions of her actions. She swathed herself in an armor of audacious madness, her words and actions seething with bigotry. She was the kind who'd stride into a room and leave a spine-chilling trail of racial slurs and prejudice in her wake. Her conviction in her own invulnerability was so deeply etched in her deranged mind that she overlooked the ominous tempest on the horizon. She continued her macabre dance, spreading venom and division. Yet you see, justice, like a ghost in the night, has an eerie way of sneaking up on those who least anticipate it. It was a day as ordinary as any when the law finally played its dreadful game of hide-and-seek with her. They materialized on her doorstep, warrant in hand. They had been meticulously piecing together evidence, constructing a case so formidable that it couldn't be swept under the rug. The moment of her arrest was a moment of potent irony drenched in mystery. This woman who was so sure of her intangibility was now in chains, her liberty snatched away. The shock was blatant in her wide, glassy eyes, her pallid face, the tremor of her hands. She had scoffed at the notion of accountability, mocked the idea of consequences with a deranged laugh. But here it was, the chilling reality she had so arrogantly rebuffed, glaring right back at her. Her shock was not just that of the arrested, but the shock of the awakened lunatic. She had been jolted awake from her dreams of invincibility to a bitter, icy reality. Her actions had consequences, and she was now destined to confront them head-on. A bone-chilling breeze swept through the air as the realization sank in. She had gambled with a sinister game, and she had lost. Now she was just another conduit of hate, another chilling statistic in the battle against racism. The shock on her face was a clear testament that she never saw it coming. The law had crept up on her, and she was on the precipice of paying the price for her actions. Her tale acts as a chilling reminder that no one is beyond the grasp of the law, no matter how invincible they may convince themselves to be in their twisted reality. But what secrets do these arrests whisper to society as a whole? As we venture into the enigmatic depths of these detentions, we start to glimpse a ripple effect that reaches into the far corners of our collective psyche. Each arrest, each accusation, each sentence meted out is a stark, mad echo of the dire consequences of nurturing and voicing racist sentiments. Picture the ripple as a rock hurled into the serene yet deceptive waters of society. The larger the rock, the more insidious the ripple. In this cryptic analogy, the rock embodies the actions against racism and the ripple, the ensuing societal. These arrests serve as a chilling deterrent, a cryptic warning to those who dare to tread along the same perilous path. They're an ominous reminder that actions have a price, and no one is exempted from the law's manic, blind justice. They're a stark testament to the fact that racism, in all its grotesque forms, is intolerable and will not be endured. But the madness doesn't end there. It's also about prevention. These arrests spark unruly debates, ignite uncomfortable conversations, and force us to face the terrifying specter of the truths lurking within our society. They shake us from our complacent slumber and provoke us to question our own shadowy biases and prejudices. Additionally, these arrests fight for equality. They echo the message that every soul, regardless of race or ethnicity, deserves respect and dignity. They remind us that our strength lies in our variances, that our differences should not be a source of conflict but a reason to revel. They also awaken change. They inspire individuals to resist racism, to use their voice against injustice, to strive for a society that is balanced and fair. In their manic pursuit, they carve a path to a future where racism is an horror. So, what do these arrests whisper to society? They whisper of progress, of hope, of transformation. They signify a society that is learning from its haunted past, growing, evolving. These arrests send a cryptic message. Racism is a forbidden phantom in our society. So what cryptic message does this emblem inscribe about justice? It's an enigma that echoes cryptically within the labyrinth of our society, a riddle that provokes profound curiosity and maddening as we ventured through the bewildering labyrinth of ignorance, prejudice, and the ensuing chaotic collapse. One truth remains eerily apparent. Justice is not an illusion to be distorted by the color of our skin. Let's resurrect the key moments we've dissected. The unveiling of prejudice, the jarring shock of realization, and the profound, almost manic impact on society. This narrative isn't merely about those who've been exposed, but also about us, in our collective madness, our role in preserving justice. Justice isn't a privilege, it's a maddening obsession. It's the bedrock of human dignity. It's a cryptic sign that leads us through the fog towards a world where respect and fairness hold their mysterious reign. A world where the scales of justice swing precariously by the gale of bias. In the end, justice must always triumph, no matter how brilliantly our skin hue shines in the moonlight. Now it's your turn to delve into this enigma. Subscribe to our channel for more mysterious revelations and thought-provoking dialogues about societal conundrums such as racism. Together, in our collective insanity, we can bring about